Hello, stray viewer. My name is Monster Hunter, and today I'm going to be covering the Wild Hearts 7-minute gameplay trailer that they released today. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be showing my live reaction because I didn't realize I had my mic muted, but I will be going over my thoughts on this video, which mainly has to deal with the presentation itself, and just to brace you, I'm not hating on the game. I treat it the same as I would any of my other favorite games by offering my criticism in a healthy manner. So with that, we can move on. I love the sounds of nature going on during this countdown. Really paints the world as something that's lived in and not just dominated by giant beasts, you know? With the initial gameplay, there's an extremely glaring flaw that can't be ignored. This silence. Yes, this looks atmospheric with the shrines, the tall grass, the broken structures on the mountains, but that's not the main point. The main point is that there's no information being displayed to the viewer. We are seeing what's going on, but we have no proper explanation for it. As far as we know, we're hunters, we fight Kimomo with weapons and construction projects called Karakuri. And that's all we know. This could have desperately used one of those announcer guys, you know, the ones I'm talking about. And if you weren't aware, if you weren't picking up on the vibes, it's skit time. Hello and welcome to the 7 minutes of gameplay for our up-and-coming game Wild Hearts. Set in feudal Japan, you are hunters who face off against powerful beasts that roam the land called the Kimomo. Our target for today is the King Tusk, a powerful boar-like Kimomo that uses its sturdy tusks to gore its enemies. As you may have seen in our teaser trailer released in September, you, as hunters, will have access to ancient technology that you can utilize not just in combat, but also for traveling purposes as well. We'll break down how the Karakuri works later in November, so please subscribe and stay tuned so that you don't miss it. Now, how different do you feel the experience would have been if you had lines fed to you about what you were experiencing? Better, right? And that's not to crap on them, but they really got to sell it, you know? Secondly, the gameplay is chaotic and enigmatic. We understand that they are hitting the Kimomo, but what are they using? What's the Karakuri types that they keep cycling through? You know, apparently you can cut off parts, but explain why the King Tusk turned red. Did it get enraged? Are there specific conditions that cause it to, like, you know, freak out, like losing its tusk? Rather than generating interest, it creates more questions and confusion. The hype can't build if there's no proper demonstration of these activities, especially with the majority of viewers coming in with the expectation that this is a manhunt genre, which sets it apart. What am I supposed to be hype about? Sure, there may be someone out there who will be hype about basically anything, no matter what you do, but you're selling this product, and with the release date so close, it's just a bit confusing. Let's have a couple questions that I personally have after experiencing the demonstration. 1. What weapons are in the game? Clearly there's different types, because this chick flew in on an umbrella and also blasted this thing's horn off with it. This dude over here is using some sort of dual blades that become the Wind Demon Shuriken. And, well, protagonist is using the longsword. We've seen that. Excuse me, did I just say longsword? I meant katana. Good God, how has Monster Hunter affected me? One of the defining aspects of Monster Hunter and Tokiden is the weaponry, because that drastically changes how a fight is handled. When you go to the website for more info, as they say, the website is bare bones. Not even a small description of the weapons or Karakuri that we've been, you know, shown so far. And I don't know, maybe they'll show more in another showcase. 2. How much of a role does the Karakuri play in a battle, and what will the navigating menus feel like? Because so far, I've seen more Karakuri than weapon types. Do we get a set amount that we can bring? Do we have access to them all? Are there utility and combat slots, or are they all together? I understand they have a showcase for it coming in November. The website says so, but I'm more lost now than I was during the teaser trailer. It looks interesting. It sure does. I know people are comparing it to Fortnite, but this looks more streamlined than it is in Fortnite, where you build an entire structure based off of your imagination, and instead this is just for whatever situation you. What is Kimomo combat going to look and feel like? Yes, they spent 7 minutes with the showcase, but for what I've seen, I'm not entirely impressed. Maybe the King Tusk is slow, but it didn't feel like it had any impact or air of danger, minus the guy getting carded in like the first 20 seconds. Yeah, he carded, but let's be real, that was very avoidable. Probably a way to just introduce player 2, but only they know. I mean, personally speaking, I would have had a little bit of a feature where you're having struggles or it runs away and then player 2 comes in to assist you. That seems a little bit more reasonable because, as you saw after he fainted and he got back up, the King Tusk was moving to a different area. So you could just have it where your main hunter gets hit by an attack that drops him, and then he's got to be like, oh man, I got to heal. The things are running away. You get insight on what the healing is going to look like, and then player 2 flies in on their umbrella like Mary Poppins, things like that. So a lot of people are now going to be addressing this issue because they recently learned about it through Sakurai. But where's the strength and the weight of the attacks? It was like slicing through butter, and especially with the fire and whatever green element they showed. Is this meant to be fast-paced, hack and slash? Because if so, Tokiden also had moments where your hits created hit pause. What's with the finisher? There's just way too many unknowns going on and not enough explanations. And yeah, I mean, maybe that enigmatic feature was supposed to, I don't know, generate hype or, you know, intrigue, but it's not doing it well. Lastly, the camera work. Constant transitioning from live gameplay to fixed angles were quite jarring. If this was a presentation, I don't mind just sticking to the live gameplay and really leaning into what you can show from just playing the game, especially with how the camera was placed in certain places. Like for instance, him grappling off of player 2's Karakuri. It swapped to a shot underneath as he was ziplining and then cut to him landing next to the player before the King Tusk roared. That was weird to be constantly slammed by different angles. That's a really minor footnote, I'm sorry. Well, anyway, to summarize, the presentation lacks proper explanation for things, the camera work was really off-putting as it didn't feel natural to the gameplay, and we were left with more questions than answers. Hopefully they improve with the feedback they get on this trailer. The first looks we have could differ from the final product, but unless we get a demo, they're going to need to be more transparent with us moving forward, especially with the release date having been 4 months away and what seems to have EA's name attached to it. Regardless, I'll be giving it a shot when it comes out, and I hope you do too. If you want to leave your opinion in the comments, feel free. Just don't go too crazy with it. See you next time.